And then I got cancer. I know things are a bit grim right now. I know we're all on the edge of our seats in one way, shape, form, or another. I know we're all dealing with something, be it big or small, either mentally, physically, emotionally, financially, whatever it is. I feel you. I'm there with you. I'm keenly aware of the current pulse. I pay attention to everything, probably too much, but I do. We could talk about it until my parasympathetic nervous system is completely fried and I am physically ill from it, but I kind of wanted to talk to you about something else, and I wanted to take a second to breathe. I'm 43. I've never quite lived through something like all of this that we're going through right now. But I've lived through a lot of hard things. I haven't really decided how much of that I'm going to share yet, but without giving like graphic details about all of these things, I have endured long-term SA. I've been a victim to GRAPE. I lost a parent at somewhat young age. I've been married. I've been divorced. I had an ectopic pregnancy that was pretty traumatic. I've endured infidelity. I had another divorce. We were never technically married. I'm in the midst of single motherhood. I've discovered that some of the people in my life are not the people that I thought they were, and I mean that in the most literal sense, not metaphorically. I've had cancer. I got laid off while I had cancer. Then I got cancer again. Since having cancer, I have health anxiety out the wazoo. So suffice to say, I've got PTSD concerning many things, and I have panic disorder, which is so much fun. I mean, I feel everything, and I feel it very intensely. This is a double-edged sword. Empaths are highly sensitive people, and don't ever let anybody tell you that that's a bad thing. It's a good thing. Before I had cancer, I'm going to be completely real with you. I was severely depressed. I was chronically depressed. I had major depressive order. Dealt with SI from the age of 14 up until probably the day that I was diagnosed with cancer. I felt like I was worthless, I was unlovable, invisible, and I had basically felt like that pretty much most of my life. And people that know me, that grew up with me, they probably wouldn't have thought that, but that's how I felt. And I say that I felt completely incapable of feeling love. I mean that in the most real sense. Somebody told me that they loved me. There was a wall between their words in my heart. Felt like people would say it just to be performative, not because they actually meant it. I loved people, but I didn't feel the love back. Does that make sense? I so desperately wanted to be loved, but my brain just told me over and over again, you're so worthless. Nobody loves you. Like, why would anybody love you? You're absolutely free to psychoanalyze that however you would like, but I know the reason that I felt that now that I'm older and I've done a lot of deep digging. I was convinced that, like, if I ceased to exist, that life would just go on for everybody, nobody would skip a beat, that it wouldn't matter to anybody. I picked apart literally everything about myself. I told myself I was nothing but trash. I had convinced myself that I deserved absolutely nothing. Anything that I did get, I was just so lucky to get the scraps of life. That was the best I would ever get. I believed this with 100% of my being. This was embedded into my DNA. And I honestly think I have some inherent trauma, and that plays a little bit of a role here. I cannot tell you how many times I cried on my therapist's couch while telling her that the world would just be better off without me. My kids would be better off without me. My partner at the time would be better off without me. I was so convinced that my life had zero meaning and zero worth. And then I got cancer, and that literally changed everything. The first few weeks after my diagnosis were probably the most terrifying weeks of my entire life. There's no exaggerating there. I'm not being dramatic. I didn't have a full diagnosis yet. I had no prognosis. I had no treatment plan yet. I just knew that I had cancer, and that can mean a lot of things. My body was shell-shocked. My brain was non-functioning. My nervous system was an exposed nerve. Tunnel vision. I was unable to think of anything, and I mean like anything outside of this box. I could no longer picture myself being alive. anything that I did in my brain, that was the last time I was going to be doing it. Having 2 young kids, this was probably the most chilling thought ever for me. Nothing mattered more to me than being here for my kids, and the thought of never seeing my children again, incomprehensible. And having lost my parent at a somewhat young age, I knew the profound effect this would have on my kids if I died from this. That would follow them the rest of their lives. I definitely did not want them to go through that. And I would say after the first few weeks, I was able to pull myself out of the hole for a minute. I had this mental clarity all of a sudden. Was I still scared? Yeah. But something flipped. This like sudden deep desire to never, ever, ever want to leave this world, for better or for worse. No matter what is going on in this world, I wanted to be here for it. Seriously, what a miracle it is to be alive. Like every meal I would eat, I would think, oh my God, this is so delicious. And I don't want to miss tasting food. Food is so good. I would listen to music and in an effort to like try to soothe myself. And I would be thinking, my God, this is so beautiful. And like, how amazing is it that we can make sounds like this, and we can create songs from literally nothing, and we get to listen to it and it makes us feel a certain way. It just like transports you. And I was so wrapped up in how amazing that is. Dead serious. I'm being so for real right now. This would be an absolute tragedy if I never get to listen to music again. I mean, I'm an artist. I looked at art in a completely different light too. Like, how amazing is color? And oh my God, what if I don't ever get to see color again? Crazy is it that shape, form, and color can make something so beautiful, and that we feel something when we see it. I want to always be amazed and have wonder at these things. I want to see the color pink. How lucky am I that I get to see the color pink? It's the most joyous color known to man. And how amazing is it that that color even exists? It's so pretty. I just kind of saw everything with almost a childlike wonder. I felt really lucky that, things that are mundane that we really don't even think about often, I was just seeing in this new light, all because my perspective had shifted. And don't get me wrong, just because like I had this mental shift, emotional perspective shift, it didn't mean my life was perfect all of a sudden. Obviously it wasn't. I had to go get a mastectomy, I had to have reconstruction, had a recurrence, I had to have radiation again. And keep in mind, I'm still a single mom at this time, and I was out of work for like 9 months for part of it, and that was really stressful and scary. Like, nothing was perfect, but I had this mindset that everything was going to be okay. And honestly, I just felt so lucky to be alive. I felt really lucky to experience the spectrum of emotions that I was feeling at the time. Good, bad, ugly. Like, I sat with all of them and I allowed myself to feel them. And I felt alive. I felt so alive, like zapped by electricity alive. Like, how lucky are we to get to love and be loved? It's pretty cool. And this is like also when I started bargaining with the universe / God. I apologized. I verbally, audibly apologized for taking my life for granted and for taking a lot of things for granted. I lamented on all the time that I wasted worrying about stupid stuff. I spent so much of my life, and this is just dumb, I spent so much of my life worrying about if I was pretty or if I was skinny or if people thought I was smart or talented. Who cares? These are not accomplishments, okay? I was like sincerely ashamed that I had spent so much time consumed with these things, this one precious life that we get. And this is what I spent a lot of time, God, so much time on this stuff. I had a sobering realization that I had spent so much time trying to control how people showed up in my life. And I realized like all of this worry, this anger, this frustration, it was literally eating me alive. It was a cancer. It was making me miserable. What I would do to be able to go back in time and just tell myself to chill out. But I can't do that. What I can do is take the lesson and I can learn from it. Maya Angelou said, if you know better, you do better. And I believe that 100%. I have to say, despite everything I have ever been through, I am so grateful. I can't verbally, I cannot verbally express the amount of gratitude that I carry in my soul now. I don't live in a big house. I don't have a high paying job. My job does not pay very well at all, but it's meaningful work. And for that, I'm thankful. I don't even know how I hold it all together. I really don't. But you know what? I can be standing at my kitchen sink. I can be cooking for my kids. I can be vacuuming. I can be taking them to school. I can be picking them up. I can be driving to work. And it hits me multiple times a day. Like, oh my God, how lucky am I to live in a safe house, a safe, clean house, and to have dishes to clean, and to have food to cook, and to have a car to take my kids to school, and for my kids to go to a safe school, for me to drive to a job that I have, for me to own this little machine that picks up crap off my floor. That's pretty cool. And seriously, these are like constant thoughts that I have post-cancer. Before cancer, I would have complained about every single one of these things because they all felt like burdens instead of blessings. But since cancer, like, we're in a new dimension of thinking everything's interesting and everything's amazing. I didn't know that this dimension existed. And remember when I said that before I was incapable of feeling love from other people? Well, that changed too. I can't even believe how much people showed up for me, what they did for me. I've never felt that loved before in my life. It was like the shield came down and I was able to feel it, and that was pretty awesome. I'll never forget that. Guys, like, people are really nice. People are really kind. People want to do nice things for you, and let them. But, like, it's hard to accept help from people, and I was definitely one of those people before. But it's not just for you, it's for them too, and, like, let them help you. People have good hearts, and I know it's hard to see that in the world. Sometimes we think everything's bad. Like, there's so much good in people. And I learned that with cancer. I never experienced something like that before. I hope none of you have to go through what I went through to have this shift that I did. Like, I hope you're able to figure it out an easier way. For me, I think this was the only way I was going to have this shift. I'm very stubborn. I mean, it was one of the best things that ever happened to me. It's really weird to hear somebody say that cancer was one of the greatest gifts they've ever been given, but for me, it was, and I mean that. I'm not sure that there was any other thing that would have knocked me upside the head like it did. And it was always my biggest fear. I was terrified of getting cancer ever since my dad passed away from it. Life has a funny way of taking your biggest fear and putting it right in your lap sometimes. I can honestly say it knocked the depression out of my body. I have not been depressed a single day since I was diagnosed. Do I have anxiety? Yes. And depression and anxiety are not the same thing. We're going to get back to where I started at this video. I have found that I do not need to control everything. I do not need to control everybody. The kicker here is you can't anyway. You can only control your actions. That is about the only thing. You can't even control your thoughts all the time. You can control your actions. That is it. I don't need to impress anybody. I don't need to be skinny. I don't need to be pretty. Things can get difficult. Things will get difficult. That is a guarantee. Difficult does not last forever. Things ebb and they flow. You have to remember that. That is life. You are on a roller coaster, for better or for worse. Till death do you part. You are married to the cycle, if nothing else. Sometimes the best thing that you can do is laugh, because that's sometimes the only thing you can do. My dark sense of humor has gotten me through many ridiculous things. I'm actually kind of finding it humorous that I'm even making a video about me having cancer and like the fallout from that. Like, did that really happen to me? Yeah, it did. And I don't know how I forget. I have a sticky note on my desk that says, what you choose to focus on becomes your reality. Just keep focusing on the good. And almost every morning, except sometimes when I'm in a rush, I jot down 3 things that I'm grateful for in my gratitude journal. And I do that on my computer. It's pretty easy. And that list always begins with my kids. Always. Number 1, forever. It's usually followed by my health and my home. At the end of the day, like, that's all you need, right? I know things are heavy right now. I feel it too. Even in the darkest times, there are so many things to be grateful for, and you have to choose to see the good as well. It doesn't mean being blind to the other things, but it means choosing to see the good. It's not always easy, but I encourage you to try to adopt a habit of writing down the things that you're thankful for every day. We can do this like now. Try it. Give it a little while and see how it like changes your perspective. See how it changes your life. See how it changes the behavior and the people around you. It's cliched, but like, be the change that you want to see. Be the light the world needs.